Hi, my name is Neelam Chaudhary. I'm here to talk about the work we are doing in our EOR lab at IIT Delhi. I work on quantifying uncertainty in methane gas hydrate reservoir simulation. So first, let's talk about what are the gas hydrates and why do we even need them. The energy requirement of a growing country like India are mainly dependent on imports. In 2015, the imports were 75%, and now it has been increased to more than 80%. By tapping into methane gas hydrates, we can meet this energy requirement. Gas hydrates are 54% of the organic carbon on Earth, which contains around 10 to the power 18 meter cube of methane gas. But how do we get methane from these gas hydrates? To understand this, we need to know what are the gas hydrates. Gas hydrates are ice-like crystalline structures formed at high pressure and low temperature conditions in deep oceans or permafrost regions by trapping gas molecules inside the water molecule lattice. This crystalline structure is of three types: structure 1, structure 2, and structure H. Structure 1 mainly contains methane gas and it is abundant in nature. Structure 2 and H are complex structures and they are less abundant in nature. So we will focus on structure 1 here. So now we know how these gas hydrates are formed, but how do we dissociate them? This is the PET curve given by Sloan. This line here is the three-phase equilibrium curve above which gas hydrates are stable, and below this line aqueous and gas phase are present. At temperature below 273 Kelvin, aqueous phase is present in the form of ice, and above 273 Kelvin, aqueous and gas phases are present. At quadruple point, all the four phases are present. So our gas hydrate is stable around here at high pressure and low temperature conditions. So in order to dissociate them, we can either decrease pressure, depressurization method, or increase the temperature, thermal stimulation method, by injecting warm water or steam. Other than these two methods, we can also inject inhibitors like alcohol. The inhibitors will shift this equilibrium curve upwards by blocking the hydrate formation itself. Or we can we can inject high pressure CO2 to replace methane molecules, but these two methods are costly. So we mainly work with thermal stimulation method and depressurization method. Now let's look upon the feasibility of the methane production from these reservoirs. In 2008, the first production test was done at Malik site in Canada, which produced methane gas for 6 days. And then China did the production test in 2011, and Japan did the production test in 2013 and 2017. These tests were short-term production tests. They had to stop after a few days, sometimes due to technical issues and sometimes due to the lack of knowledge about the site itself. In future, we require more knowledge about what is going on at the site. Usually, numerical simulations are used for the prediction of the gas production from these reservoirs. In our lab, we have an in-house multi-phase 3D finite volume simulator which accounts for three components: water, methane, and hydrate, and four phases: gas, aqueous, hydrate, and ice. It has been validated against several other simulators in the code comparison study done by USDOE. The energy and mass balance equations are discretized in space and time domain. Finite volume method is used to discretize equation in space, and backward Euler method is used to discretize equation in time. These equations are further solved by Newton-Raphson method. These are the mass and energy balance equations. Based on our previous work, we considered a reservoir block similar to the NGHP Site 16 in India. The reservoir block has a length of 1200 meter, 500 meter width, and 30 meters of thickness. with porosity 0.4. The top 18-meter layer is the hydrate layer, underlain by the 12-meter of aquifer. The reservoir block is discretized into 25, 12, and 10 grid blocks. The heat transfer is allowed at overburden and underburden of the reservoir. No heat or mass flow at lateral boundaries. A single vertical well is used for the depressurization method. The well is maintained at 4 megapascal. We introduced uncertainty by considering 5% standard deviation in the Gaussian distribution of the input parameters. Two input parameters are considered: porosity and initial hydrate saturation. 1,000 deterministic simulations are analyzed using Monte Carlo simulation. For the base case, where the porosity is 0.4 and initial hydrate saturation is 0.75, the gas produced was higher, around 80% of original gas in place. The water production was also higher for initial 500 days, then it decreases. So now we introduce uncertainty in porosity and initial hydrate saturation to see the impact of uncertainty in the final gas production. Mean and standard deviation in the cumulative gas production as a function of time due to the uncertainty in the porosity are shown here. The standard deviation peak is obtained during the initial days when the gas production is low, followed by a sudden drop in the standard deviation peak as the gas production increases. The standard deviation shows that the gas production is sensitive to the porosity of the reservoir. Mean and standard deviation in the water production rate due to the uncertainty in the porosity are shown here. The water production rate is higher initially, then it decreases and it is very low, which shows that the water production rate is less sensitive to the porosity of the reservoir. The mean and standard deviation in the cumulative gas production due to uncertainty in initial hydrate saturation are shown here. Here the gas production is low before 500 days, where a peak is obtained in standard deviation curve. As the gas production increases, the peak drops. After 500 days, there is a rise in standard deviation peak, which can be explained by the variation in gas production. The mean gas production curve is more or less similar for both the variables porosity and hydrate saturation, but the standard deviation curve has a large difference. The gas production is more sensitive to the porosity of the reservoir. Mean and standard deviation curve in the water production rate due to uncertainty in initial hydrate saturation are shown here. As we vary the initial hydrate saturation, the water saturation also changes. This impacts the final gas production. The water production is higher for initial days, then it decreases, which can also be seen in the standard deviation curve, where a small peak is obtained here. The water production rate is more sensitive to the uncertainty in initial hydrate saturation than the porosity of the reservoir, while the gas production is more sensitive to the porosity of the reservoir than the initial hydrate saturation of the reservoir. We acknowledge the financial support granted by Science and Engineering Board India. Thank you. I would like to answer the queries that you may have now.